Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Ebony. How
So
are
you
today?
came back. Huh? You couldn't take us
Skip.
yesterday, so you had to take one day
And
away,
I couldn't
right?
take one more day away. I had to come back immediately.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
you missed us.
Yeah, she said, I miss you.
Yeah.
Miss working with you, Shannon.
That's what she said. I don't think she said
Yeah,
that.
she
but if
said
you
that.
want to believe that, you can
She's-
believe
that's what
whatever
she
you want to
said.
believe.
I said, what about Skip? She's
Yeah.
like, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
talk about that later.
Hot mess. All right, guys. Baker Mayfield is going to be live with us in the studio a little later in the show. That is so exciting. But we're going to start off with the Cavs. Now, they have the 8th pick in tonight's draft, and by all accounts, they've got their eyes on Trae Young. ESPN reports that the Cavs hosted Young in a secret workout on Saturday, and they've got him on a short list for the players they'd like to draft in the first round. LeBron James can still opt out next week, but back in February, he was not shy about his thoughts on Young leaving college early. Let's listen.
As a local guy here in Trae Young's going to have to make a decision to go pro or not. Well,
that ain't no decision.
Well,
That's like I'm saying my waking up this morning.
okay.
Brushing my teeth. Ain't no decision. You better go pro.
Well, let me ask you this: what's he facing then to make that jump? You were from high school. He's played one of your college. What's the biggest adjustment he'll have to make?
How much money he gonna spend monthly? How much he gonna save? That's the only adjustment he got to worry about.
All right, that's my kind of adjustment.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp, does Trae Young make it more likely that Cleveland can keep LeBron James?
Hell no. And I'm trying to figure out, Skip, if it was a secret workout, how the hell we know about it? So I guess it wasn't that secret after all, because it got out somehow. Skip, if you remember, let's go back to 2014. You remember UConn, Shabazz Napier had that great tournament run. LeBron James said, whoever doesn't take this guy in the first round, be making a huge mistake.
He said that?
The Miami Heat select Shabazz Napier.
They did.
Can you tell the people at home how that worked out for him?
He was coming home.
I'm going home. He went to Cleveland. Drafting Trae Young will have no bearing on whether LeBron James comes or goes. But here's the thing, though, Skip. I think if they were to trade that pick and could package, say, a Kevin Love or someone and get a veteran, a quality veteran, let's say maybe San Antonio. There's a guy I heard that was disgruntled. Basically told.
Stop dreaming.
Now, hold on, Skip. Let me finish my point. I heard there's a guy that's a superstar in San Antonio that's upset and no longer wants to be there. We would be willing to part with the 8th pick in the draft and an all-star, because you love to mention that Kevin Love is a 5-time all-star. We would be willing to give you that in order for Kawhi in return.
Wait, the Kevin Love you dismiss as a liability? You want my team to take him and the 8th pick in the draft? It's not the 2nd pick or the 3rd. It's the 8th pick.
Yeah.
Really?
He gonna walk and you're gonna get nothing.
So once upon a time, we stole Kawhi Leonard with the, 16th overall pick, and now you're saying we should let Cleveland steal him back?
Somebody's about to steal him back from you guys, Skip. But I don't see. Let's go back. When was the last time a rookie made a... Now, Jason Tatum is an outlier. Magic Johnson are outliers. But do we think, had Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, had they been healthy, would we have seen this Jason Tatum? Because I don't know if he gets the minutes or the opportunities with those two guys in the lineup. So I don't see the impact that Trae Young could have on the Cavaliers. Skip, they're more than a Trae Young needing a Trae Young and to convince LeBron James he needs to stay. Look, I get it. The game now, it used to be we're going to play the game above the rim. Now the game has moved out beyond the arc. And from what I saw in college, he could shoot the 3. Now, he's a little undersized. People say he's going to struggle getting that shot off. But, Skip, it's hard for me to believe that the guy can shoot the ball like that. Plus, he led the league and led the NCAA in assists. We haven't seen that before. That's not normally. We don't normally see that, Skip. If a guy scores this many points, he's not dishing out 8, 9, 10 assists. So I believe he can facilitate. But I don't believe if the Cavaliers were to select him, I don't think that's going to have any bearing on LeBron James' decision. He's like, oh, man, they got Trae Young, bro. I'm in. Hey, Dan, I'm opting in, bro. No, that's not going to happen, Skip.
Do you think it would be a plus for him to even think about it as some advantage to have Trae Young as opposed to not have Trae Young?
No, because LeBron says, hold on. You could have traded that 8th pick, and we could have got DeAndre Jordan, which would have gone a long way with us. It definitely probably helped us. Nah, Trae Young, Skip. Trae Young is not going to help LeBron. LeBron says, I'm still in championship mode. I don't see how selecting Trae Young helps LeBron get to his ultimate destination again, which is winning the NBA championship.
Even though you need a point guard, you had to resort at times to Jose Calderon coming off your bench, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my bottom line to this discussion. I believe even though LeBron James clearly loves Trae Young as a kid because he had Trae Young many years at his basketball camps. So he got to know him. He's a fun kid to be around, and he has one great strength. He has the gift of passing the basketball that LeBron has at the highest levels. I keep telling you, LeBron is still the best passer in basketball. Trae Young could be in that category. He could become, in the NBA, the best little man passer to me since John Stockton. And they're both about the same size because they're both about 6'1"-ish. I'll give Trae Young, they said he measured in shoes 6'1.5" with his sneakers on. So that gives you an extra, what? I don't know.
Inch and a half, so he might be 6 foot.
He might be 6 foot. And he is slight, but he can pass the basketball.
Yes.
But I believe if LeBron James actually sat down and watched the film of Trae Young from game to game to game, the way I just watched it on TV. You know, I'm an Oklahoma fan. I probably saw all or parts of 25 of the 32 games Trae Young played this year for the University of Oklahoma, including a first-round exit at the hands of Rhode Island in overtime. They lost to Rhode Island in overtime thanks to 6 turnovers from Trae Young.
He's a heavy assist.
He also led the nation in turnovers as well as averaging points and averaging assists. He led the nation.
So he had a triple-dub, huh?
He had a triple-dub, which reminds me a little bit of that guy from Akron. He's kind of a high turnover guy.
Whatever, just don't do that.
So, but I believe if LeBron actually sat down and watched the tape from end to end of Trae Young's one-and-done year in college, he would vote no on Trae Young. That's what I believe. If he could choose somebody else, he would go in another direction, even at point guard, than Trae Young, because Trae Young's one rare strength, passing the basketball, gets canceled by his many deficiencies and inadequacies and ultimately weaknesses, because I don't love anything else about Trae Young. In fact, I think every other category is bust, 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 bust. Now, can the passing overcome some of that to where he becomes a credible NBA player, a starting point guard?
Well, let me ask you a question. Can he be Ricky Rubio?
That's an interesting question, because Ricky Rubio is probably 2 inches taller.
Yes.
And can defend just a little bit. Trae Young doesn't even try to defend.
But
now, I don't know if that'll change in pro basketball. He has to try, because for Lon Kruger, he wouldn't even try. Right. He was a complete deficiency on defense. He was a weakness for that team. He just mailed it in on defense. Right. And that three-point shot, he shot 36% from three. Again, Lonzo Ball shot 41% in college at UCLA in his 1 year. The three-point shot is a set shot. He doesn't have a jump shot because he can't jump. He is not an explosive athlete. There's no Allen Iverson going on here. There is no Steph Curry going on here, because he can't take the pressure off the defending of his three-point shot, which is just his feet on the floor, basically a set shot.
Well, can he be J.J. Redick?
Heck no. Not even close. It's just a pure shooter? No. I mean, J.J. Redick has a pure jump shot, and it's about as pure as it gets.
So you basically said the man going to be a bust.
I'm not saying he's going to be a bust, because if you just let him pass the basketball, just as a distributor, he is really special. Now, he's going to try things that are going to create turnovers. Right. So does your man LeBron, right?
Yes.
But he has greatness as a passer. But he can't finish. Like John Stockton had strength, he had just natural strength. I don't know if he ever got in the weight room, but he could hold his own.
He got to be able to finish. If John Stockton can average, 12 points a game?
Yep. Hey,
this kid got to be able to do that.
This kid can't jump, and he's so slight that he doesn't finish with any strength at the rim. So once he got deeper and deeper into the Big 12, he started off like House of Fire, obviously, in non-conference. And then you get deeper and deeper. They lost 9 of their last 11 games. And look what happened to his points. He went from averaging 30 points in the first 21 games to over those last 11 to only averaging 22. And his assists dropped from 10 in the first 21 games to over the last 11, all the way down to 7. Guess what happened? He got worn down.
Yeah.
He just got out-physicaled by the Big 12. They just got up into him and just took him out of the game. Well, guess what? He played 32 college games last year. How many are in the NBA? 82 games just in the regular season.
Well, he's going to have to skip. He's going to have to button down the defense because I believe point guard and the small forward position are the deepest positions in the NBA. You get Chris Paul one night. You get Steph Curry, Harden, Westbrook, John Wall, Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley Jr. So you don't get any nights off.
Seriously, you think Lonzo had a hard time? Well, watch what's about to happen to this kid.
Kyrie. Yep. So if you don't be on your best behavior, any of those guys can drop 40 on you. You catch them on a good night and you bull jive and they'll drop 50 on your head.
That is correct.
So he knows he's going to have to pick that aspect up. Another thing, Skip, that I think, and LeBron has been very, very outspoken against the NCAA. He wants guys as soon as they possibly can. If it was his druthers, they wouldn't even have to go to college. He said because these colleges are making all this money and profiting. So I believe that had more to do with it than saying I would like to play with him.
Yep.
Let this man come on and get this money. He's making a lot of money for Oklahoma, getting nothing out of that free education. Forget that. I guarantee you, he made more money for Oklahoma than the education was.
Yep.
So I believe that has a lot to do with it. Skip, it's just hard for me to believe that LeBron James feels that there's a guy, maybe Ayton. Maybe he thinks that he's a guy.
He would help. No,
right.
I agree with that.
But other than that,
yeah.
I don't believe LeBron thinks there's a rookie that can help him get to his ultimate destination. So I don't believe. Skip, and even if they trade the pick, it's still a long shot. Because at the end of the day, if you trade the pick, what do you get in return? LeBron's going to have to feel that guy can help him basically now get past the Celtics. If they stand pat, if the Celtics don't do anything, they're going to be favored to come out of the East. If they do absolutely nothing. Now, if somehow they can swing a deal, now I believe it's going to be hard, Skip, for them to swing something for Kawhi. Give up a Jaylen Brown to have Kawhi for 1 year, because, Skip, this is what we know. If Kawhi tells you that in 2019 I'm going to be playing for the Lakers, you better believe him. Now, you can say, well, we get him here, get him in our culture, we'll talk him into it.
There's no way Boston's going to trade for him.
Exactly.
You give up Jaylen Brown and one of those picks?
Exactly. So you better believe him. If he tells you, I'm there 1 year and I'm bouncing to L.A., take him at his word. But this pick, Skip, Trae Young, Andrew Young, I don't care, forever Young.
Yep.
There's not a guy, unless it's Fox at number one, that I feel LeBron say, you know what? Okay, okay, let me think about this, Dan.
So far since college basketball season ended, the best thing Trae Young has done is he has talked a much better game than I believe he can play, because he's been talking big, man. He says he's going to lead the NBA in points and assists, or at least that's his goal, right?
Yes.
And it's like he's become his own LeVar Ball, right? Like he doesn't need a LeVar Ball because he's LeVar Ball, right?
I think the chic thing to do now, Skip, I'm the best player in the draft. 30 guys, I heard 30 guys say I'm the best player. Well, what do you expect him to play? Now, come on now. It's hard for me to believe, looking at the way Ayton played at Arizona, the way he can move his feet, the way he can shoot the three, because that's where the game's gone now.
Plus, he's got a grown man's NBA body.
He grown.
Whew.
That young fella is fully grown at 18, 19.
He is.
So it's hard for me to believe at his size that there's a better player. But we never know. We never know how this thing's going to pan out 3-4 years from now. But maybe if Cleveland was had the number one pick, well, then maybe you could trade that. You really get. I just say if they were top 5, you could really trade. You can move some things because there are 3 or 4 guys up there that they would love to have. You know, Ayton, Bagley Jr., Mo Bamba. Guy got an 8-foot wingspan, Skip.
I know him. I watched him.
He's a defensive. He's probably one of the best defenders and hadn't set foot in the NBA yet because he's gonna be swatting everything. Now, if it's up, I saw him shooting threes. Dude, 7 foot tall. Now he
can shoot it pretty well.
Yeah, adding the 3 to his game. But this Trae Young, Skip, I don't see how taking a 6 foot. Now, if he was Kyrie Irving, if he had Kyrie Irving's skill set, now LeBron's like, oh yeah, I'm all in on that.
He would be.
But this dude don't have Kyrie Irving.
So if I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers and I truly want a point guard, I'm taking Colin Sexton, if he's still there, the Alabama kid, or that Gilgeous-Alexander from Kentucky, because he's 6'5", and he's got a much higher ceiling to me than Trae Young does. But I must throw out one other player that we got to watch in the national championship game. How about that light-skinned kid, as in white kid? How about that kid?
Oh, Billy Hoyle.
Yeah. How about Dante DiVincenzo?
Yeah.
Stock is rising.
Yes.
So if I promise you, if I took Shannon Sharp and you knew nothing about reputations of either of these two kids, and I showed you the tape of Trae Young's loss in the first round to Rhode Island, you watched it start to finish, and then I showed you Dante DiVincenzo win MOP, Most Outstanding Player, in the national championship game for Villanova, and I said, who would you take in the draft? I'm pretty sure you'd take Dante.
Oh, yeah, double D. Absolutely.
Okay, he's 6'5". He won several high school slam dunk contests, so he can get up.
Yes.
He can get up. And you know what? He passes it. He's not Trae Young, but he passes it pretty well. And he's a 40% three-point shooter who comes off the bench, but he was fearless, man.
And guess what he does better in his sleep than Trae Young? Play defense.
He plays
Did
defense.
you see those the shot? He blocked a dunk with both hands.
With both hands.
He can slide his feet. And so...
And I look at some of the numbers he put up against their arch rival in the Big East, Xavier, a #1 seed in this year's tournament. At Xavier this year, Dante goes for 21, 9, and 9. Those are big-time NBA-bound numbers to me, where I'm saying, and again, will I be surprised if he goes late lottery or at least mid-first round? I will not.
Right.
For most people, he was going to be a second-round pick, and all I read, stock on the rise for Dante. And in the end, I'm going on my gut. I'm going on my eye test. His NBA ceiling, to me, is higher than Trae Young.
Oh, I can agree with that. Yeah. Now, it's being reported that LeBron's camp is more enamored with Colin Sexton than they are Trae Young.
True.
Now,
again, but he's an explosive athlete. He can finish like crazy.
Yes.
Is he raw as a point guard? Can pass like Trae Young?
You know who he reminds me of, Skip? Fox, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, he does. His game is like that. They look alike.
Yes, yes. Little herky-jerky all over the place.
Yep.
Quick. But at the end of the day, Skip, you're asking a rookie to come in and contribute, play heavy minutes. Because like I said, we thought Jason Tatum was okay, but we never would have known. Because it's hard for me to believe that Jason Tatum would have gotten those minutes if Gordon Hayward was fully healthy. It's hard for me to believe that. It's hard for me to believe that with Kyrie, because they're going to put the ball in Kyrie's hand late in the ball game, Skip, where in this situation, Jason Tatum had the ball.
Yep.
So LeBron's going to always have the ball for the most part late in the ball game, especially with a rookie on the floor. So it's just hard for me to believe that the Cavs can take this young man and that will entice LeBron to stay. I believe that even if they trade the pick, it's still a 95% chance that LeBron's going to bounce. Because he's looking at it, can you get someone? Can you get a Kawhi or whomever it may be? We just say Kawhi because he's available. Paul George. Well, Paul George is looking like, hold on, why would I want to come now when last year you wouldn't commit more than another year? So what makes me think if I come now, all you're going to do is just opt in. You ain't said nothing about signing no extension. So I get stuck, here we are again. I get stuck in Cleveland, you bounce. So that's what LeBron is up against, Skip. As he wants security, wants people to do want Dan Gilbert to do the right thing by him, these players that might want to come play along with them want him to do the right thing by them. Say you're going to be here for 2 years. So I know, okay, well, I signed a 2-year deal because that way he leave, I'm not staying in Cleveland without him because he's the only reason I'm coming to Cleveland.
That is true. I still say I wouldn't mind seeing him as a Los Angeles Laker, but he would definitely mind it if he was there by himself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't think he would want to do that.
No.
LeBron, Lonzo, Ingram, Randall, I don't know. What do you...
Kuzma?
I don't know.
All right, man.
First round playoff exit?
When have LeBron James ever done that? Now, stop.
Let's see.
Now I know a few guys, even in their prime. I know a guy in his prime got bounced in the first round.
In his prime?
In his prime. I ain't calling his name, though.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean the guy who's 6-0 in NBA
No,
finals?
not him. He got swept. He got swept, twice in the first 3 years. I'm talking about a guy in his prime. He wore 2 different numbers. I ain't gonna call his name, but you know the guy. Yeah, in his prime got swept.
Well,
got lost in the first round.
Yeah. In the Pout game, the game.
I don't know nothing about no game. I don't know which game it was or who they played. I'm just saying I know a guy that was in his prime and lost in the first round.
So you've given up the argument against Michael Jordan. So now you have to turn your sights on Kobe Bryant because that's all you got. You lost to Michael Jordan, so now you have to argue LeBron versus Kobe.
Skip.
It's okay.
What argument?
No, this is what Ronaldo does.
No, that's what LeBron
you can't
is doing.
Steal that.
That's what. Look at that.
Huh?
Look what he got up on his chin.
Yeah. Huh. Well, he's got it under his chin because he doesn't have it up on.
We don't do that.
Right?
Oh, come on now. At least he got a little something. Your guy was.
He was gone.
Yeah, by year 3 it was over.
No, that's
he just
true.
let it go. Say
That
forget
is true.
it.
Yep, you got it.
You see the guy right there, Skip?
I don't see him in those colors anymore, but.
Yeah, the wine and gold. I don't know. It might be purple and
that
gold.
might be it. Yeah.
Might be red and white or something. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know, Skip. I don't know if I could travel with old Bron this time around,
No,
Skip.
I don't think you can.
All right, fellas, we're going to leave that one there for now. Up next, why did the rest of the Charlotte Hornets hate Dwight Howard? We're going to get to the bottom of that, discuss it up next. And don't forget, Baker Mayfield is going to be live right here in this studio a little later in the show. We're back with more Undisputed.
No mercy.
Charlotte Hornets agreed to trade Dwight Howard to the Nets yesterday. Now, he averaged about 16 points and 12 boards last season, but the Charlotte Observer reports Dwight frustrated teammates by not running the plays that were called. Former NBA player and current analyst Brendan Haywood, shout out to the Tar Heels, he gave one of his own reasons for the trade. Take a listen.
The locker room hated Dwight Howard. I'm not sure if Charlotte is rebuilding or if they're just trying to get Dwight Howard out of there, but it was clear the locker room did not like Dwight Howard, and it's simply because of how he goes about his business day to day in that locker room. Now, he's not the guy that's running around slapping people in the face, but hard to deal with, doesn't accept responsibility, cries a lot, has bad tendencies, awful body language. And so all these things contribute to why he was shipped out of Charlotte. The people I talked to behind the scenes, it was like, guys were just sick and tired of his act.
Strong words there. Shannon Sharp, are you surprised to hear that about Dwight Howard?
Skip, I'm a little surprised because he strikes you as a guy that's fun-loving, that likes to have fun, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's going places where guys are serious and they want to win, and that key in and all them hook shots and the backpack and all that other stuff that he's been doing, Skip.
You're talking about hook shots from half court in warm-ups.
Or jacket up threes, and when they told him, say, Dwight, we want you to stop shooting so many threes, he said, well, guess what? I'm going to shoot some more tomorrow. Skip, this guy, talent for talent, I believe only Wilt Chamberlain had more God-given ability than Dwight Howard. Skip, look how he's built like a Greek god. Caps on the shoulders. He could run. He could jump out the building. But he never expanded his game. So now he's archaic. Because all the bigs now, what can they do, Skip? They can shoot the three. Dwight Howard's not shooting no three with any consistency. And when he does, he's just jacking it up having fun. Skip, Dennis Schroeder, who was his teammate in Atlanta, this is what he said after Dwight Howard had a monster game. When we played with Charlotte, had a monster game against them. He said he plays great. He always played great against his former team, said Schroeder. Credit him for that, but that's like 4 games a year, you know? Houston, LA, us, I think. It's always giving his best. But the other games? Okay. Dwight Howard's career has never been the same since the awkward encounter that he had with Stan Van Gundy. He wanted out of Orlando, then he opts in. And then he says, I got the lead. He goes to LA, and Kobe is about winning. Kobe ain't about that friendly, ain't that kid, all that bull jiving. Nope. He goes to Houston. Oh, this me and James Harden team, we about to do this. Harden said, nah, y'all got to get him up out of here.
That is
He
correct.
goes home to Atlanta. Skip, everybody should be able to go home. Dorothy said, Dorothy wanted to get home. She wanted to get back to Kansas. Dude, you from Atlanta. They said, nah, you got to get up out of here.
That is correct.
Skip, on this man's resume, he got traded for Timofey Mozgov.
He did.
Dwight Howard is going to be a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's been all NBA. 16 and 12 and a half this year, Skip. And teams can't wait to get rid of. Think about this, Skip. They got rid of Dwight Howard, who only has 1 more year on his contract at about $24-25 million, to take on Timofey Mozgov, who has 2 years at about $35 million.
But they wanted to get rid of the $24 million that Dwight's scheduled to make next year.
They wanted to get rid of Dwight if he was making $5.
That is correct.
They said, you got to get the hell up out of here. That's what they wanted.
So, unlike you, I'm not surprised at all by this.
I thought you liked him.
I don't like Dwight.
Oh.
Dwight knows exactly how I feel about Dwight. I like him personally.
Okay.
I like being around Dwight off the court.
Oh, you don't like
He's
his
fun.
game?
I don't like his game, and he knows how I feel about his game.
Okay.
And we have had it out face-to-face about his game or lack thereof.
Okay.
He never figured out any kind of even low-post game in the fourth quarter. So he's an offensive liability in every fourth quarter because we know he's had trouble from the free throw line, so you can hack a Dwight.
Right.
And the rest of the time, he is so happy-go-lucky that he could not care less about winning or losing. He's made $210 million in his 14 years. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's all on potential to me. It's all on the look of Greek God. But remember, he's not 7 feet 4 inches tall. He's really about 6'10", but they list him at 6'11", but he's not dominating in height or length. But the shoulders, I've never seen better shoulders on a big man. And to your point, he can defend when he feels like it against certain teams, and he can be a defensive player of the year. But I am so disappointed in Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the guy I always defend as the greatest performer, not just in basketball, but in any sport ever, has become and continues to be the worst GM in basketball history.
He knows
history.
basketball, but he sure can't pick no talent.
He can't pick no talent. This is your Charlotte.
I know.
team.
I'm like sitting over here.
And I'm sorry because
I'm totally in my feelings, y'all.
Okay,
Go ahead, though.
he's obviously iconic and beloved in North Carolina, but I feel for the Charlotte fans because they're just trapped, man, because you're trapped in the iconicness of Michael Jordan because this team has now made the playoffs 3 times in 12 years. 3 times in 12 years, and twice in the playoffs it got swept, and once it went to Game 7 and lost to the Miami Heat without LeBron after LeBron had gone home.
Right.
So that means in the playoffs, you're 3-12 under Michael Jordan in the time he's sort of run the basketball operation, and only 3 playoffs in the Eastern Conference in 12 in the Eastern Conference. And you took Dwight Howard's contract, which Atlanta had given him 3 years, $70 million. So it was $24 million last year that you paid for this. And you had to know this has been his act everywhere he's been. The team never likes him because he doesn't take basketball very seriously.
No.
And when things go south, not that they went that south in Orlando because they had their runs. They had a couple runs to the finals and twice to the conference finals. But once it went south in L.A., he's out, man. Once it goes south in Houston, don't look at me. Don't blame me. He's a finger pointer. And I love the point that Haywood made about he's got that body, but he won't use it to set screens. So he's not going to give up the body for the team.
Right.
You know, so the body language is always bad because he just doesn't care enough about he got his money. It's guaranteed.
Skip, he's never had the success since he left Orlando. But what did they do in Orlando? They surrounded him with shooters.
A bunch of shooters.
And so now, okay, what you gonna do? You gonna guard the three-point line, or you gonna let me punish your big one-on-one? Well, they wanted to guard the three-point line. He was punishing them down low. He killed Cleveland. I mean, he had like a couple of 40-point games. They couldn't do anything with him. And then when you start, all of a sudden, you pack down on him, those 3-point, Rashard Lewis and Hedo Turkoglu, and then had the guy from France, I forget his name.
Pietrus.
Pietrus. And so, but Skip, if you think about it, Kobe said, well, I was trying to show Dwight because he thinks that, you know, everything is happy-go-lucky, and that's not really the style that you need to win a championship. But Dwight Howard says, Allah, I might not have won one, but this style did get me to the NBA Finals. So he says, my style does work for me. But here's the thing, Dwight, at some point in time, over these last 5 years, I know be it a hotel room or your home, you had to walk by a mirror. And when you walk by, okay, you go from Orlando to L.A. to Houston to Atlanta to Charlotte, now to Brooklyn. When you walk by the mirror, the one common denominator is not those franchises, it's the guy passing the mirror.
The guy who's now been on 4 teams in 4 years? Interesting.
Think about that.
Yeah,
Dwight Howard was the #1 overall pick, an all-NBA player, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. And he got on his resume, he got traded for Timofey Mozgov.
He did.
I don't know what Mitch Kupchak thinking. That's what got him fired up out of L.A. Giving Timofey Mozgov and Luol Deng those bull jive contracts, Skip, and Michael Jordan hires him, and he brings them Timofey. I might have traded Dwight Howard, but I ain't taking on Timofey Mozgov.
So he put up decent numbers last year, really the best in 4 years, 17 and 13.
Yeah.
Credible. The rebounds are
Had
very
a couple
credible.
20-20 games.
Yeah. And Charlotte finished 36-46 in the Eastern Conference. It won't work. It won't work. So Brooklyn's just waiting for 2020, you know, for basically just to get rid of this $24 million. Yeah, it's a salary dump. That's the end of Dwight Howard as we knew and loved him. That's the guy.
But, so now
and you know what? The point of this is, to your point, it's easy for me to say in 2020 hindsight, but he should have just stayed in Orlando.
Yeah.
I think he would have been much happier. Yeah. That's where he flourished there. Small market, big fish in little pond, right?
Exactly. Skip. Stop all that keying. All that smiling. If the ball goes out of bounds, you smiling. You make a foul, you foul somebody, you smiling. Man, your teammate's like, dude, we're out here trying to win a game and you up here joking. It's not funny. Contrary to what Dwight thinks, a lot of these guys really want to win.
Yep.
And they look at your body language, they look at the way you play and the way you practice. They're like, dude, you're not trying to win. You just happy to get that check and get up out of town. Man, we tired of you.
Hey, I know Shannon Sharp well enough to know.
Yeah, I'd had a problem with him.
If effectively he had been on your team, whatever the sport would have been, you would have had big problems. You would have been pulling Dwight aside.
Yes, absolutely.
Away from
you got to.
Yeah.
You got to.
You would have read him some riot acts, man, like, hey.
I ain't got no problem pulling the guy aside. Look here, bro. You need to stop all that laughing. You need to stop all the playing cards and playing pool and table tennis and getting your playbook. Because you held at table tennis, but you don't know one play. Yeah, I would have done it. Because, we'd have had a bunch of problems. And then I'm going to go tell, look, we're going to have a problem. One of us need to go.
Yep. So this is another guy, to your point. He's going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame because everybody seems to get in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm just not sure he really belongs there on his basketball character. I got you. And he did get to one finals, and they went out quickly to Kobe's team and Gasol in 5 games.
But Courtney Lee was an alley-hoop away from winning that game.
He was.
They win that. Who knows what happened, game one, especially if you get that one on the road.
Yep.
But, especially on the road. Yep. Skip, you can't be this talented. He and Shaq, #1 overall picks that's gone to the most franchises. 6, Skip. That's Skip. I mean.
Yeah, but Shaq, by his own admission, was ring chasing. Dwight's just plummeting. He's just sort of falling from team to team.
But Shaq had a stretch from 90, I think 92 was Shaq's first year. So 92 until he left the Lakers, Skip, he was as good as he got. Even his first year in Miami when he was 23-10.
Oh, he was good.
And then he didn't. Dwight works out. Look at him. He's still in shape. If Shaq had worked out, and I told Shaq
that's true. That's the flip side of this guy. Yep.
If Shaq had worked out in the NBA like he does now, he get 2 more rings. He gets another MVP.
He would have.
And we look at him totally different.
I told you, he was the most dominating offensive force I ever saw. Not pretty to watch.
Oh, you couldn't do
hard to referee, but you couldn't stop it.
You couldn't stop it. What you gonna do with 7'1", 325?
Because you want to talk about he had skill now.
He could dribble the ball up the court, put the ball on the floor, spin, dunk, shoot a hook over either side.
Yeah.
But Dwight Howard, I'm so disappointed in Dwight Howard with all that God-given ability. He didn't apply himself. Dwight Howard left so much on the table, Skip, and that's a shame.
Just leaving my Hornets hanging. I'll tell you what.
No mercy.
Madden 19, it won't be released until August, but we already know that the Cowboys have the most players in the league with a rating. The
Cowboys?
With a rating of at least 90.
Uh-oh.
Dallas has 5 players on that list. Zeke Elliott, Sean Lee, and 3 offensive linemen. Now, the defending champion, Philadelphia Eagles, are tied for the 2nd most in the league, with 4 players with a 90 or better rating. Shannon Sharp, do you agree with these ratings?
Absolutely not.
Not?
No, Skip. So, you know what? If Jerry Jones, if you watching this show, if you see this, you should fire Jason Garrett right now. You got 5 players rated better than 90.
But
no other team.
You don't agree with the rating?
No. But
so then you shouldn't fire Jason Garrett.
Well, how about this here? How does Sean Lee get a 90 rating? Even in Madden, he already hurt. I ain't even played it yet. He hurt.
What have I been telling you?
You ain't been telling me nothing. You wrong. You've been giving me wrong information.
Oh, okay.
First of all, let me tell you why it doesn't matter, Skip. You know, but even though they got 5 guys, they got 3 guys that can't score points.
Well, they can help you to score points.
How did that work out for them last year?
Well, the biggest one of those guys was hurt for 3 big games.
The biggest one was sitting at home for 6 games. Old Zeke.
No, I'm talking about Ty Smith.
I'm talking about
most
Zeke.
dominating left tackle in all of pro football.
Skip, I want guys. The 90 rate, that's fine and good. But I need the guys to have the 90 ratings that's going to score me touchdowns. And I need the guys on the defense that's going to go get the quarterback and put him on the ground. And now, none of my business right now, but old Sean Lee was a 91. I know 2 linebackers that were high. Old Luke, old Carolina, old Carolina, and old Bobby Wagner, old big play Bobby, old big play Bobby.
What were they, a 92?
95. No, one of them was 96, Bobby Wagner. The old kick, old Luke LK was 97.
97?
97. He almost got higher than Tom Brady.
I need to recheck those.
No,
facts.
you don't need to recheck nothing. So I'm trying to with all these 90+ ratings. All these guys, you got 3 of the 5 best offensive linemen in football. And y'all won 9 games last year? Y'all didn't make the playoffs? So that's an indictment on Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett. Something needs to change.
How many games did Zeke get to play last year? How many games did Sean Lee play last year?
This is what I do, Skip. I don't count the games. I just make the games count. So when he was playing, what they do? What on Sean Lee do? What they do? Well, Zeke was in there. What he do, Skip?
That's a good question. Okay. A couple of games Zeke played, you remember, against Green Bay and the Los Angeles Rams at Jerry
Don't
World?
be putting all that on Zeke. Because hey, look, this is what we do know. Now, we know a guy that played all 16 games that can really impact the game because he touched the ball every single time.
Yep.
And you ain't say nothing about that yesterday. I'm going to take my glasses off because I ain't got nothing to do with this. But I noticed you ain't mentioned that yesterday.
Mention what?
That he took all them snaps.
I said he took all them snaps. And what did he do in QBR? He was 4th best in the whole league after he was 3rd best as a rookie. I'd say those are back-to-back big-time QBR years.
Hold on.
Wouldn't you?
I don't see no Q, no B, no R in wins and losses. That's what I read. That's what I did. The numbers. That's the alphabet. I want to see WINS.
So, Ebony.
Yes.
A couple days back, we also did Madden ratings when it came to ranking the 2 quarterbacks at the top of the list. And one of those quarterbacks was named Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. You said he should have had a 100 rating, right? But he had a 99. And my guy, Tom Brady, everybody's guy, Tom Brady, the GOAT, the best quarterback ever, had a 97. And yet you verified that. You validated that. Yep. And you said you said it should even be higher than that. But now you're disqualifying the rating that says the Cowboys have the most 90-plus players in the entire NFL.
I can't tell.
Out of 32 teams, they have the only 5-time 90-plussers, 5 of them.
At least with Tom Brady, I can see him being a 97 because his team's in the playoff. When Aaron Rodgers plays, I can see him being 99 because his team's in the playoff. I see all these 90s, and I don't see no playoffs. So something ain't right. Either they miscalculated or the players aren't as good as they say, Skip.
So, back to the facts of this case. Sean Lee missed 6 games last year, and they went 1-5 in those games because I continue to tell you the defense goes as Sean Lee goes because he is simply the most valuable linebacker in pro football. He does more than Kuechly or Bobby Wagner do. I'm sorry, he just does. He is everywhere. He is the quarterback of the defense. He is the heart, the soul. He is the coach of the defense. And if you watch the documentary series on, what was it on Netflix? I think it was Netflix. Now, I watched the whole thing. Now I can't remember which one it was on. But it is on Amazon? Yeah, Amazon. So the point is that Sean Lee actually runs the defensive meetings. He acts like the coach, and then he's the coach on the field.
That explains why they're so bad in defense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they might need to get a coach in there.
But what happened in the 6 games, so they went 1-5, I think that would show you. And what if he played in those 6 games? What if they'd gone 6-0, which I think they would have in those games?
I got to factor that.
Remember, they had halftime leads in all those games.
Shouldn't I factor in his availability into his rating?
Well, occasionally he plays all 16 games, and you're going to be in big trouble next year when he does stay upright for all 16 games. And if Ty Smith stays upright for all 16, you're going to be in bigger trouble. And if Ezekiel Elliott keeps himself between the lines off the field next year and doesn't get suspended again and stays healthy on the field, you're going to be in huge trouble because you've virtually already lost this bet.
I'm trying to figure out why Carson Wentz doesn't have a 90 rating. That's what I need to know. Zach Ertz, why doesn't he have a 90 rating? But they got 3 guys on defense. They got a couple of guys on defense that got them. So the Eagles will take care of you guys.
I love these ratings. They're so accurate.
No, they're not.
You told me Aaron Rodgers is 100 or 99, so they're very accurate. And I got to take these to my bank. So we're looking at the Eagles, and Malcolm Jenkins is the highest Eagle at 93? Really? A safety?
You told me.
You can't really. Wait a minute. You told me you need pass rushers or point scorers on this list, and the highest Eagle is Malcolm Jenkins.
What Brandon Graham?
He's at 92.
What about Fletch?
He's there.
Okay, that's all I need.
That's all you need?
That's all I need.
I know, but you only have 4. I got 5.
They ain't gonna do nothing.
I got road graders. I got 3 road graders. I got 3 of the best offensive linemen all in the same line.
And you told me all last year how disappointed you were because they were not playing up to that top 25 ranking that you saw. Now you love them again.
Okay,
but
we had dissension in the ranks because Des Bryant had gone completely south.
What
he had become a liability. That everybody finally just sort of threw up their hands and gave up. Yeah,
I'll
they
tell you
did.
how offensive linemen work. They don't care about nothing. They eat together, they walk together, they run together, they lift at the same time.
Our offensive linemen are smarter than most offensive linemen. They're men of the world. They're Renaissance men. They're not like the guys you played with.
You just made that up.
Schleras. No?
You just made that
They're
up.
smarter. No, they are.
So are you telling me that Zach Martin and Travis Fredericks, they played up to their abilities last year?
They did not.
Okay.
But they will this time.
No.
Yeah.
So how do you get these 90? I mean, how do you get Zach Martin in 95?
You skipped over this.
What?
DeMarcus Lawrence, my pass rusher, was 89, so he was just a tick off, giving us 6 in the top.
And the only reason they didn't do that because they're like, how are we going to give the Cowboys 6 players with a 90-plus rating and they don't make the playoffs? How'd that look?
Well, because of injury and suspension, obviously. 2 of these studs were hurt.
Jason Peters.
And 1 was gone.
They lost Jason Peters.
Okay.
Ain't skip a beat.
Was he
is
he in here? I don't see him.
They lost the MVP quarterback. Ain't skip a beat. They lost their middle linebacker.
That's why Carson Wentz is
a beat.
way overrated at 85.
Don't do that, Skip.
Nick Foles should be above Carson Wentz. What did you see? What did your eye test tell you?
That's so unbecoming of you.
So it's not unbecoming. They're going to have a big quarterback controversy / quandary next year in Philadelphia.
Skip, we don't have a controversy.
We cleared the decks. We got rid of our Dez problem. We are free and easy now. We are on to the next year. Starting fresh.
You solved the Dez problem with what answers?
With Dak Prescott.
He got to throw
Spread the ball. You heard him yesterday. He's at his best spreading the ball, reading and distributing.
He said Cole Beasley.
He did. He's going to bounce back from the dead or the near dead.
Really?
Yep. What did he go from, like 75 catches to 35?
36, 37. But he rapping. Oh, yeah. DJ Mayonnaise got it going on.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know. I like we're going to shock the world. And by the way.
Stop saying that. You're the Cowboys. You shouldn't shock anybody.
Here's the point of this. This rating should tell you how much trouble you're in because this is true. This is what I've been telling you. When you have that dominating of an offensive line and you have the best back in football, he's underrated at 91. There are 2 back, Gurley and Le'Veon.
No, Gurley ain't ahead of him, Le'Veon and David Johnson.
David Johnson, this guy's it. You know it, and I know it. Yep,
he can't do what Le'Veon does.
Let him play 16 games and watch what happens.
He did.
And let Sean Lee lead that defense. It will be above average. Last year it was average at best. It will be above average, and the offense will be explosive.
Skip. David Irvin is gone. Y'all big stud D tackle that clogs it up.
For 4 games. For 4 games.
4.
He'll come back fresh.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a monster.
I just want to know how you guys get 5 players with a 90-plus rating and you win 9 games. That's 14-2 all day.
I already
the Patriots got 2.
They were hurt or suspended.
The Patriots got 2.
All you need is 1 with them.
No, you need 2. Gronk.
Well, really, all you need is 1. They won a Super Bowl without Gronk. 2 Super Bowls ago, they won it without him. You just need that quarterback.
What did your quarterback do last year at the Super Bowl? Did they win? He came by my restaurant. I stayed open late for him. You know and I know, Skip Bayless, they don't deserve to have 5 guys with a 90-plus rating on a 9-17. Skip, what sense does that make?
By the way, 9-7 with all those injuries and suspensions, that's pretty great. Dak said that yesterday. Most people discount that, but 9-7 after all they went through?
What'd they go through?
Pretty great. what they go through.
A lot of teams go through things.
They don't have that.
Eagles.
Not a lot of teams
Eagles
have a 6-game suspension of the best back in football,
Eagles
hanging over you the whole year.
Eagles lost their Hall of Fame left tackle. They lost the MVP quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost a lot of things, Skip.
Yeah, and they found out they had a better quarterback as a backup. Well, you saw it. You ever seen 2 better playoff games played by a quarterback than those two?
But I ain't gonna. But I've also seen those other 55, 60 games that Nick Foles has played. So we're gonna discount those, disregard those last 60 that he played.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a chance right here and right now to call off the bet. I'm gonna let you off the hook.
No, I'm up in ante.
How many? Like 7 cases?
Yeah.
You owe me 11 cases.
I'm up in ante.
Yeah. You're upping the ante.
Yeah.
What's the new term, Shane?
What you want? What you want to put on it?
5 cases.
So you want to make
all I got to do is make the playoffs? That's all? That's easy.
No, it's not.
Huh? I mean, this is the most underrated team in football now. Is
You're the Dallas Cowboys. How do you use underrating Cowboys in the same sentence?
Well, I don't know, but that's what's happening.
Shouldn't that be oxymoronic?
No.
Oh, y'all underachieving little rascals.
Yeah.
All right.
You're in trouble. This should show you how much trouble you're
5 on it. We good?
Yeah,
5
we good.
cases.
Okay, we're
5.
good. 5 on it. So next up, in the NBA, should Trae Young be a top 10 pick tonight in the draft? We'll discuss it next with Eddie House. Stay with us.
No mercy.
Trae Young could be a top 10 pick in tonight's NBA draft, but not all the scouting reports are good. An anonymous scout says Trae could, quote, be really damn good, but I also see him being a backup point guard. I wouldn't touch him. Now, the scout added, to me, he's a wannabe Steph, and there's only one Steph. He feels more like an Eddie House.
An Eddie House?
Where he might have big games, but the turnovers, lack of size, lack of defense.
Wait, is that you?
You know,
Turnovers, lack of size, lack of defense?
Sound like I can't play,
that
right?
was like super shady, right?
I need him to
But
put
he
his
can't
name. Can he put his name on it? And if he didn't play longer than me and got a championship, he need to button his
Not speak on it, right?
For real
Clearly.
talk. Put your
Joining
name on
us
it. Put
now.
some respect on mine.
FS1 NBA analyst Eddie House. Eddie, you know.
11 years?
Yeah.
A championship?
You know what, Eddie?
Eddie, you got a decade under your
If he
belt.
don't knock it off,
Eddie,
he
we're
sound like a dude
going
that
to
played
put
2 or 3 years.
all that shade aside. And I just want to talk to you about how high in the draft do you think Trae Young should go?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's between 6 and 9 to me. I think those are the only teams that really need point guards. You look at 6, Orlando, they're really needing a point guard right now. You go to 7, Chicago, they got Chris Dunn, who they traded for.
Right.
But do you,
More like
are
2.
you, yeah.
But then you got Levine at 2.
You got Levine at the 2 over there. The Cavs look interesting. And I think him going from 6 to 9. The Knicks, they got
how good is he?
I think, to be honest with you, defensively, he was exposed a little bit, but he has a chip on his shoulder, it seems like, that he wants to prove that he can play defense. I think the confidence, everybody's exuding confidence right now. Everybody's saying that they're the best player in the draft, what they're going to do when they come in the league. I think if he comes in the right situation, has some good pieces around him, and thinking about getting his team off first and being like a point guard, the leader, the extension of the coach on the floor, I think he'll have a really good career, and he could be good if he thinks about getting his team involved first, because I believe that his best attribute is his passing ability.
Okay, so what about this comparison between Eddie House and Trae Young?
Well, he want to get 11 years in and be a world champion. I mean, I think anybody will sign up for that. You know, when you stepping into the league.
But the anonymous quote's point was that Eddie House capable of big games, but liability in other areas. Well, fair or not fair?
I think it's not fair because if you look at it, I was in big games. If you're a liability, you're not going to be on the court in a 24-point comeback against the Lakers in the championship. You're not going to be on the court Game 7, diving for loose balls, making plays, changing the momentum of basketball games. So. The comparison, it sounds like somebody salty, probably somebody I gave some business to throughout the course of my career. Yeah, I gave him some business, and so he just, that was his way. But he just put his name on it next time. You know, you got my name in your mouth, you know, put your name next to it.
But it was actually a positive, negative quote.
It was a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it was.
That's what it was. You ain't going to pull that off on me.
Oh, what he did, he was sneak fighting. He sneak fighting with
threw a rock and hit his hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
The point guard position is one of the 2 deepest positions in the NBA. It's also, the game is played differently now than even when you came in the league. It is more, teams will trade you 2 for 3. So now the game is played behind the arc.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be able to get the 3-ball off. Now, Skip, you says he's more of a set shot.
Yeah, he's
shooter.
not a big jump shooter.
Right. No,
you got up on your shot.
Yeah.
It was hard to defend your shot. You'd go up quick and you'd get some height on your release.
Yep. So the thing is, look, he's going to go in the lottery. I like the Knicks. See, the Knicks, they talk about, well, they got Neil Keeler and they got Moutier. Neither one of them can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this, Skip.
He'd work in New York.
Yeah. You can sell him. They like, oh, man, he make a couple of threes.
He might.
Ooh, the guard going to go crazy because they're just waiting for somebody to wrap their arms around, Skip. Because when they had Jeremy Lin, Skip, remember when they had Jeremy Lin? The guard was buzzing like it was the early 70s when they had Willis Reed.
For a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it was. But they need that. They need a splash player, and so I see him going to. Ideally, the Knicks would be a perfect fit for him. But like I said, because the point guard position is so deep, he's going to have to. You know what? Maybe his offense suffers a little bit, Skip, because he's going to have to get in his mind that I got to play D. Because these point guards, Skip, they got 10 of them. And all of them in a given night will hit you side your head for 30 plus. And if you're not careful, James Harden will get 40 on you. So will Steph, so will Russ, so will Kyrie. So he might suffer a little bit offensively, be it scoring and assisting the ball, because he's going to be tired because he's going to have to stay in front of some people. Or he's going to have to come out the game because I can't have you in the game if you letting the guy every time open the door and he just come and lay the ball up.
So, LeBron James has endorsed Trae Young because Trae went to many of LeBron's basketball camps, and LeBron immediately saw a precocious passer. He's not a good passer. He has potential to be a great passer. To me, I told Shannon earlier in the show, excuse me, I'm going to knock your phone off, that this could become the best little man passer since John Stockton because he measured 6'1.5" in his sneakers. So he's about Stockton size, 6'1"-ish. And John Stockton played with strength and would defend you, get up in you, but John Stockton could distribute like crazy and was a very clever, as you know, creative passer.
He had Malone, too.
He had Malone, and that helped on the break.
Okay,
all right, I got you. But to me, the one great strength of Trae Young is canceled by so many weaknesses of Trae Young because he's slight. He's not an explosive athlete. He's not a leaper at all. He could not finish in Big 12 games, and it got worse and worse and worse because there's no Iverson going on here where he can just explode above the trees and get to the rim. And he's a decent shooter, but a streak shooter. And once he goes cold, he's shooting from so far out that he just goes colder and colder and colder. And I remind you, even though he led the nation in scoring and assists, he also led in turnovers because those creative passes, they're going to go astray occasionally because he had the greenest light in college basketball under Lon Kruger, and I'm not sure you can do that in pro basketball and get away with it. So I watched probably 25 of his 32 games because I'm an Oklahoma fan. And what did I see over the last 11? They lost 9 of their last 11 games because he got worn down, especially in the Big 12, because they just punished him. He won't try to defend anybody, so he becomes a liability on defense. His teammates get frustrated because his guy's just going to go off. And in the end, he gets beat up and pushed around so easily that, remember, this is just 32 games that he played last year. He's got to play 50 more, 82 games, really?
But I don't think that, see, last year he had the burden of doing everything. He had to score. He had to be the facilitator.
Oh, yeah,
so
like
he had
LeBron.
he had to find somewhere, exactly, where he had to find somewhere where he had to take off a little bit. Can my teammates step up and give me something? I'm leading in assists and I'm leading. I'm getting y'all involved, obviously. And I think the coaches did him a disservice as well by just continuously kept the ball in his hands and didn't do anything to get him off the ball and get him the ball on the move sometimes, not have him bring it up 94 feet with pressure. And what the Big 12 did was they caught tape on him, so they would give him different looks. They'll trap him, half-court trap sometimes, full-court pressure, then the pick and roll they'll trap, and sometimes they'll just hard show and get back. So it kept him thinking. And I think that was also a disservice that the coaches did to him. They didn't get him in that film room and show him, hey, this is how you're going to have to attack it. As soon as you see this, you got to get rid of the basketball. You can't pound it a little bit. So I think he wore out, and he's not going to have that workload in the NBA. So I think he'll be able to translate and carry on. His shot will be a little better than it was leading into the end of the season because he was wore down.
Well, that's the thing is, Skip. It looks. I think the NBA will they draft more on need than probably the NFL. Because, the best player, if I got the Broncos, if you got 3 defensive backs, even if the best defensive players are back, they're not taking him, Skip. The NBA, they got somebody now, I don't see anybody leaping up to come moved up to get him now. I don't see that happening. But if he somehow gets past, let's say, the Cavs take him out. Is he going to change their fortunes? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, LeBron leaves. They keep Kevin Love. Is Trae Young really going to change the fortunes of the Cavaliers? They're going to be in the lottery. Next year, they'll get a top 5 pick because that's how bad they're going to be. So with that being said, Skip, I believe because he can shoot the ball, from that now, he had a greener light than Steph had at Davidson.
That is true.
And Steph had a green light. But this dude here is unbelievable. I believe he'll take better shots. And like Eddie said, he won't be asked to do as much, so therefore he will be a little better than what he showed over the last, say, 3 weeks of the last 3 weeks to a month of the season. He's better than what he showed, Skip, because at some games he was like 7 of 28 and
he was wore out.
He was shooting threes from half court. Come on, bro.
He was wore. Yeah, I'll tell you what. If he gets past the Cavs in 9, you could look at Phoenix to try to move up and maybe try to nab him and try to create a young core, Ayton, Booker, and Trae Young, because they got the 16th
to your point,
they got the 30th pick.
As long as he's just willing to pass the basketball and just play pure point.
Well, he already told you want to lead the NBA in scoring and assists. Yeah. So he done told you that he want to do both of those things now.
So he's got to get checked as soon as he gets to the locker room, and if he's in it, like, you ain't gonna be able to lead the league in scoring if you're playing with Devin Booker or anybody that's a big time scorer.
Right.
So he'll figure out.
That's only been done once in the history of the NBA. And that was Nate Tiny Archibald, Skip. He led the league in scoring and assists. Because think about it. I mean, Russ had 31, but then Harden leads in assists. Harden leads in scoring, and then Russ leads in assists. That's really hard to do. And it takes a lot of. And first of all, you're not about to come in and get that many shots where you can lead the team and score, lead the league and score.
If he's in Orlando, he might get the opportunity to get shots like that.
Gordon said, I want my shots too.
Yeah, but Gordon's not a guy. Gordon get his off of a transition, things like that, and you could create sets for him, but he'll have the ball in his hand the majority of the time, and he'll be able to dictate off the pick and roll and dictate pace and whenever he wants to get his shot. Because I think his handle is impeccable. His decision-making is really good. It's just, he turned the ball over because he had so much. And that's going to happen, but the turnovers will go down, and I think the assist will be there.
So I'm going to say to Eddie House what I said to Shannon Sharp earlier in the show. If I gave you the tape of Oklahoma's final loss of the year, first round of the NCAA tournament to Rhode Island in overtime, they lost 83-78, 6 turnovers in that game from Trae Young. And then I showed you the final game of the NCAA tournament, the championship game, and the most outstanding player in that game was Dante DiVincenzo. If I showed you those 2 tapes and I said, and you didn't know anything about reputations and you weren't blinded by the hype, and I said, which player will be better in the NBA? You would say this kid who was the MOP.
Yeah, well, that's watching that one game. But if I watched the body of work, I would be like, DiVincenzo has the NBA body, the athleticism. So I think it's going to translate better. Yeah, better in the NBA.
He was a 40%.
But watching the whole season and the whole body of work, I was.
I would ask you to go watch another game against their arch rival in the Big East at Xavier, a #1 seed in this year's NCAA tournament. He went for 21, 9, and 9 in that game. That's big time.
He's a beast.
Can he be Rozier? Can he do what Rozier did for the Celtics?
Rozier more athletic.
DiVincenzo?
No, Trae.
Trae? Heck no.
He's not as
athletic.
He's
not an explosive athlete.
He's not as athletic. But he can't do those athletic. But I think I think he'll make better plays than Rozier.
Somebody put that ball in the basket for 27.5 points a game. Somebody did that.
Yeah, somebody did do that.
So he can't get half that in the NBA?
Yeah, he could. I think he's going to be a good scorer.
If Lonzo scored 10 points a game, you tell him this man can't score 12, 13?
Yeah, for sure. He for sure.
Come on, Skip.
I think he's going to be a better passer than he is a scorer. His scoring will come later.
Okay, how about this, Skip?
Lonzo Ball is 6 feet 7 inches tall, and he ranked 24th in the NBA in individual defensive win shares. That's pretty good for a rookie. 24th overall. This kid's going to be 124th at best.
Better rookie season. Lonzo or Trae Young?
Oh, I'll take that 10, 7, and 7. I'll take that. I'll take it.
Sound like a bet right there.
So what if this kid has like 14, 5, and 5?
Do we get to count defense?
I don't really know
Do we
how
have to
we
count
I
steals?
don't know how we get to quantify defense.
Okay. Steals, do they count?
Yeah.
You led your team in rebounding most of the year. He's second on your team in rebounding.
A man 6 foot tall not going to lead his team in rebounding unless it's in high school.
Okay, well then, do you want to take the bet off the table then?
No.
You just backed out.
No.
Huh?
No, because you want to put all that other stuff. You want
all that other stuff counts. It's called basketball.
Okay, who has the high PR?
Huh?
I'm just looking at points, rebound, assists.
Plus, minus.
That's all I'm looking at.
I love plus minus.
I hate that stat.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking at. That's all I want to know.
Yeah. Well,
points, rebound, assists.
Well, Trae Young's already turned into LeVar Ball because he talks a better game than he can play.
All these kids are talking. All of them coming out saying they're the best. Everyone say I should be the #1 pick. Everybody. Well, I mean, they're supposed to think that, though. They're supposed to have confidence.
I mean,
come out and say,
Aiden, after his workout, he came out of his workout from Phoenix. Oh, I'm going #1. I'm done. I ain't working out for nobody else.
Bagley tweeted was like the audacity for him to say that. And then he went and worked out and said, no, I should be the #1 pick.
Is this agent talk? Is this how
No,
they're
this is
trained?
this is
I know,
them.
but I'm just saying, is this what the agents tell them
No, I
to
just
say?
think they really believe that, though.
Yeah.
I think they believe it. And they should believe it. They put in the work, and they deserve to enjoy this moment and have the opportunity to be the #1.
With that body, ain't nobody going over Aiden.
No, I think Aiden, but I mean, Bagley, you can't go wrong with Bagley, man. In the end, the fastest big man to run the floor. Second jump is faster than somebody that I've seen since Sean Marion. I mean, and he's 7 feet tall, and you can only teach him positioning and film session.
Did you see Aiden on that box?
No, I seen Aiden.
On
I
the
seen
block?
Aiden live, and I seen Bagley.
Either shoulder.
Two different type of players.
Eddie, let me ask you this. What's different now, right? We look at when you came out, when you were, getting drafted, and players weren't talking like this, right? Everybody wasn't going first round #1 pick. What's different now that all these kids really believe in this?
The league is younger. The league is a lot younger. When I came in, it was a grown man's league. It was really grown. Like my rookie season, I had Tim Hardaway, Dwayne Coswell, Don McClain, Anthony Mason, Alonzo Mourning, Dan Marley.
That's
there's OGs out there. You know what I mean? So, and
this is what's different. Social media.
that is a difference too.
That's the game changer.
Yep.
Because think of
Everybody's got their own PR machine in the palm of their hand.
Puma just got back in the sneaker game, Skip, 14 hours ago, and they got 3 of the top 5 players already on there. And they got Rudy Gay. They got Old Clyde. They signed JR is the creative director. That can't help.
Well, they got Jay-Z.
I mean, Jay-Z, excuse me. Skip. Think about it. Jay-Z, oh, man.
I think they're right in the game, man.
They are.
Huge star power.
They are. And the difference, back in the day, you would look at big men really didn't sell shoes. Well, now it's because of the social media, all their followers they got, they're instantly sucked in to understand, oh, this is what I'm putting out. And if you are a fan, they'll usually go pick that up.
And that's the thing, big man, look at the shoes, man. Now, big man sell. KD, look at KD got what, the #2?
And he wear 22s?
That joke. And them low, cut it low, they look super duper long. But O'Brien, but you know who got the #1 seller, right, Skip? You know who got the #1 seller?
You know who's the king of shoe
Oh, yeah,
sales?
Skip, we know.
Michael
Skip,
Jordan.
we know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Game over. Next question.
No mercy.
All right, we're joined now in studio by the man that Skip Bayless has been saying for months should be the #1 pick in the draft. Baker Mayfield, welcome to Undisputed.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. So, Baker, we're excited to announce that you have a brand new series. It's going to be called All the Way Up on your journey from college to the NFL. It's going to premiere on July 29th on Fox. Why was it important for you to do this project, Baker?
For me, I've never really been about going directly by the script. It's always been a little bit different.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was more of a kind of a behind-the-scenes journey of everything that entails leading up to the draft and a little bit post after that. So it's a lot of things that people don't know. And so just wanted to give a different outlook on it and just a little taste of what I was all about. Because there was a lot of questions leading up to the draft about that. So I thought, what better way to show that than just have people join in along the ride.
So let's talk about what makes Baker Mayfield tick. Let's talk about the walk-on mentality that you've had from day one. You lead Lake Travis High School in Austin, Texas to a state championship. I think that was your junior year. But you're virtually unrecruited coming out of high school, and you say, okay, I'll go walk on at Texas Tech. And they have just signed one Davis Webb, who's now Eli's backup, maybe his successor, we don't know, in New York, but he's a good player. Went on to Cal and did big things for Cal. And yet you walk in and say, nope, I got this, and you beat him out. and you started from the start, and you go up against SMU in that opener at SMU. Do you remember that game? You go 43 of 60 for 413 yards and 4 touchdowns against Garrett Gilbert, who had been a big star
Lake Travis.
at Lake Travis, and big star at Texas for a while. So what drove you to be able to pull that off?
My mentality, I was always competitive growing up. I love sports. That was just everything I did. It always had to be something, being active or competitive. And so that was just how I was. And then when I hit my growth spurt later on, so I had to deal with, there was a time period where I was not the biggest kid, and I just had to mentally develop the attitude of I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. It's just how it's going to be. I'm going to have to work for it, and that's just how I was wired from a young age. And so when it came to the college decision, the easy way out would have been to go into Florida Atlantic or Washington State, but that growing up and watching Oklahoma and being in Texas, football is everything, and big-time football is the real deal. So those weren't the choices for me. Nothing against those schools, but I wanted to play ball at a big-time place. And when recruiting fell through, I did want to go to a place in the Big 12 Conference and play a lot of those teams that didn't recruit me.
How much of a shot did you get right out of the blocks against Davis Webb? Wasn't he going to be the odds-on guy to win that job?
Definitely had to work my way up the ladder. Some after practice, young guy 7-on-7 is what they called it, just getting reps, trying to get the playbook down. And I think from there they saw that I knew my plays and I was able to throw the ball a little bit. And then from there I got some reps in the scrimmage. And I distinctly remember the conversation, Coach Kingsbury calling me. I was moving from a different dorm into the one I'd be in for the fall, and my mom was with me. And he called and he said, hey, so you had a good scrimmage today? And I remember, thanks, Coach. He goes, we're going to start trying to work you in at the ones a little bit. And at that point, I was like, I knew this would be worth it. That was like a weight lifted off my shoulders kind of thing. And it was an unbelievable opportunity to go in there and be able to compete right away, because not many guys get to do that your freshman year. Most of them, they come in and, you know, there's a lot of things physically you have to change before you're ready to play. But at the quarterback position, I was able to use the mental side of it to help me out.
But then you pack your bags and you head on, mosey on down the road to Oklahoma.
Up the road, yeah.
Up the road to Oklahoma.
Yep.
You take the same mindset?
Absolutely. But even more so then, you know, they had a guy, Trevor Knight, who was coming off a Sugar Bowl MVP his redshirt freshman year.
Against St. Nick's defense. Torched them. Well, they always get torched in big games.
We weren't excited because we weren't going to be able to play the national championship game, so we
So you mailed that one in. Yeah, I got you.
But go ahead, Baker.
Go ahead.
No, I had to carry that same mentality, if not more so. And Trevor being the guy that he was, it was a little bit different. He was an all-encompassing team guy, family-oriented, so he welcomed me in with open arms. And I was, in my head, we were focused on how am I going to get eligible for this first season.
Right.
We were going to think we could use the walk-on, it wasn't on scholarship, maybe able to play right away. But it was just a little bit different getting there. And I think that's mostly because I grew up an OU fan. It just felt right at home. The best thing that happened to me was sitting out that year. I got to practice up against our defense every day, get better, and obviously there was a big physical change for me. I lost about 15 pounds of bad weight and put on some good, and it was a good year for me.
And sitting out and practice against them, were you thinking to yourself, I'm better than him?
I love Trev.
Yeah, but
I was ready for a competition. I was ready for a competition. No, it was just between spring ball and then the summer workouts, the way that how easy it was to fit into the team, there was just something that felt right.
Right.
And it was like, I just felt like that should have been my team all along. And they welcomed me in with open arms, and I was just ready for after that 8-5 year to be able to play again.
So tell this story quickly, but you moved into just the student dorm when your first year at OU. Because you're just a pure walk-on, like, Coach, I'm here, will you let me try, right?
So I moved in, my mom and I drove up from Austin to Norman because we couldn't talk to any of the coaches because of the transfer rules. We weren't going to try and go around it at all. We wanted to make sure we did it the right way, and got there. And the only reason I was able to leave Texas Tech as late as I did and enroll in Oklahoma was because I applied out of high school. So all I had to do was resend my application. They verified that I was accepted, and then we enrolled in classes and moved into the, it was Muldrow Tower in the Adams Center, floor 6, and stayed there for about 3 weeks where I wasn't able to work out with the team until I got a letter from the
By the way, didn't you sign up for intramural softball?
I played a couple games of intramural. Actually, one game of intramural flag football. Then they.
Oh, flag football. You played flag football?
I played for one game, and then I had 2 championships in softball. I'm proud of those.
2 championships? How would you like it if this guy just came to your dorm room and said, hey, can I play softball with you guys?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, hey. Weren't you Babe Ruthian in that?
It was fun.
Yeah.
When you're playing slow pitch softball, it's not that difficult if you have a baseball background. So there was a lot of home runs down.
All right, so let's fast forward to this past year for the Oklahoma Sooners. Urban Meyer called the game you played at Ohio State on that Saturday night the greatest game any quarterback has ever played against him. What was it like for you? What happened? How did it feel?
The thing I always revert back to is that week leading up to that game, we had spent so much time thinking about how they came to Norman the year before that we wanted to get a shot at them. And there was just a different energy about it. You can feel something during the week of practice of there was no doubt. Everything we were doing in practice, we're like, okay, you see it on film at matchups, this is going to work out great. And so going into it, everybody on the team had a confidence unlike any other. And so that was a game that was honestly just so much fun, getting to compete. And that was a revealing game for what our guys were going to be like, because we had a lot of young guys starting, a lot of young guys getting a lot of playing time. And so seeing how they rose to the occasion was huge for us. And it was one that I'll never forget.
386 yards. What was it? 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That'll work, right? And do you have, as you look back at planting the flag, it was just so Baker Mayfield. Do you love that you did it? Do you have any regrets about it at all?
I'm still working on some fans in Cleveland right now. I'm trying to win them over. But the thing is exactly what I said. There was so much thought about the loss that we had against them the year before that I spent so much time making sure that I would never have that feeling again. That was more of a celebratory thing with our team. We made sure to push each other in the off season and just make sure that never happened again. And, you know, it could be something that happens in the locker room, but if a team's not going to celebrate a win, then why are you playing?
So fast forward to now, you're back in another quote-unquote walk-on situation. There's an incumbent quarterback, Tyrod Taylor in Cleveland, took his team to the playoffs, what'd you say, for the first time since 99?
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player. He's a proven player. Is he Davis Webb to you? I mean, are you attacking this as a competition, or are you willing just to sit and watch?
He's not. That's completely different. Davis and I were the same age, both going into our first year of college. Tyrod's been in the league. He's taken a team to the playoffs. You can tell when Tyrod walks in the room. People can say whatever they want about him, but until you're in the building working with him, you really don't have any idea what he's all about. That's a guy that I'll say it over and over again. I'm fortunate to be behind him and learn from him because of his work ethic, how he conducts practice, the expectations he holds his receivers to, and everybody. There's a standard. There's a reason why he took that team to the playoffs last year, and that he has the respect of our guys, and has had it for since the beginning already. And so he's a guy it's going to be a great situation for me to learn from. And then also I have Drew Stanton, who's been around the league for a long time as well.
Yes. So are you ready, willing, and able just to sit and watch for a year?
That's obviously not who I am. Yeah, I want to play. I'm not going to lie. I want to play, but at the same time, I want to make sure I'm ready for whenever that time is. It's not in my control. It never has been, so I just need to be ready for it.
Go ahead. But you obviously, you were just born to compete, so it's going to be hard for you to go to camp and not feel like you're competing with Tyrod for the job, right?
I'm still competing with myself every day.
Okay.
I got to be a better version of myself each day, and there's a long way to go, and I'm happy to have something to look forward to and work for.
Would you be disappointed if you didn't start at any point in time this year?
No, I think everything happens for a reason. I was disappointed when I didn't play during the 2014 season in Oklahoma, but everything happens for a reason, and that's the mindset I have to have now. Is you got to find the positives in it, and whether that's doing scout team stuff or just learning behind every rep, the ones I get, the ones I don't get, just watching. So there's going to be a positive in anything. You just got to find it.
So how different has it been in OTA's minicamp, just the feel of the pro game versus the college game?
Well, I'd like to say that I would have a normal program right now, but I have Greg Williams, my defensive coordinator, throwing just about anything and everything
at you.
And that's the one thing that I've had to talk to our coaches about, because I get frustrated that I'm not having the success I wanted to. But in reality, I'm not going to see that defense every down. I'm not going to see some of those things, and it's going to be a little bit easier for me. So
like crazy blitzes.
Yeah, and so the last about 4 or 5 practices slowed down for me, and things started to click. But